Good morning, everybody. We'll be with you in just a moment here. Yep. Yep. Wow, frame rate sucks today. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this wonderful show here on... That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's St. Patrick's Day right here. That's it. That's it. Here it is. I'm officially Irish today because I'm wearing a green shirt. Actually, the family names here. Family name. The family name is Herlihy, O'Gara, O'Shea, Fitzgerald, Valentine, and a number of others that. Boy, this today is just a day here already. You know what? Wearing a green shirt doesn't work with my green screen. Cuts me out. So today I had to switch it up and use a black screen and let the computer try and figure it out. And the computer is just not as good at as just figuring out removing green from the thing. It's much easier having to deal with shapes and arms moving around, hair and sunglasses and all that type of stuff. Anyway, so you'll see a little camera glitchy and that type of stuff. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my co-host, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. What's happening, Pedro? Oh, I don't have your chart up. Also don't have you on there. Where did Pedro go? Good. I'm just trying to get the feed sorted out here. I believe that it is finished. I don't know. The meme coin market, to me, this is opinion, not technical speculation, just can't sustain these things anymore. People want their money, and they don't trust the meme market right now because it wrecked them all so badly. So that I think it's going to change and need some market sentiment change here to really get going. I'm not saying it won't go to up a little bit more again, but I guess we'll see when it comes off that bounce there. If the volume picks up, we'll know. But if the volume doesn't pick up, it's due for a dumpage. Oh, snaps. Holy tell. Anyway, welcome everyone watching us. Really appreciate it. Oh. No. I go by the lights too every night. I have a cyberpunk look here in the apartment. Pinks and purples or deep blues and stuff like that. But you know, in one there's the old style lights, incandescent lights with the filters. It's actually sent one style of light to you. The LEDs send a different style. It's more choppy. You know, if you look at the sine wave of a incandescent bulb, it's just the light's just steady right at you all the time. I shouldn't say the sine wave. I should say an oscilloscope. If you're looking at LED, it's going a bazillion flash. It's essentially flashing at you really fast. That's why if you hold a camera up to it, a lot of times when the frequency is off, it sinks. So I don't think the LEDs work as well as the incandescent lights for that stuff. I think my system is 100% jacked here. Is it possible the S&P is at a bottom here and it's doing its reversal now? I mean, obviously anything is possible, but I mean, what are your thoughts on that? down at the end of the week. Oh, the excitement today. Yeah, weekend was good. We did the spring cleaning this weekend, which I pulled all the furniture out from away from the walls, vacuumed, baseboard washing, all that winter dust that gathers up, cleaned it, and the place is spick and span. So that was one of those things that you dread doing, but when you do it, as they say, the wife is happy. The wife is happy. So we got that taken care of, did a bunch of other things, cleaning out the storage bin in the apartment building, all that type of stuff. And so it was kind of, we'll call it an infrastructure weekend. I didn't really trade it all this weekend. It was the weekend. Market just looked not in my favor because of my rookie eye on it. So I was like, nope, just gonna leave that alone. But I also reopened my demo account to practice some things in demo. Not reopened it, but we'll say refunded it. Funded. Got more monies in it. From the great minting gods of fake money. To practice. To practice some trading stuff. So it's good. It was a good weekend. While Pedro's setting that chart up too, let's see who's in the crowd here. Probably going to be massive today. Oh yeah, Roland. Welcome, Roland Rod, to the house. Welcome everyone that's watching. Really appreciate it. It is a slow viewer day because I'm going to switch back to this view real quick. You can see over my shoulder here and through my microphone here that it's St. Patrick's Day, and what you're seeing is a live view of the Temple Bar in Dublin, Ireland. And you can even hear it too. You can hear the drunkards going up and down the street singing the songs of the day. You know, this is usually a big day for me. I've always celebrated St. Patrick's Day pretty heavily. This year I'm not. Just going to meet some friends at a local Irish pub just for one beer or so, a Guinness or maybe a Murphy's Stout, and then come back in. But a long time ago, my sister and I used to make a day of it, and it was always fun in Chicago for St. Patrick's Day because there's such a massive Irish crew in Chicago. But anyway, I took this opportunity to link St. Patrick's Day because I just thought it was very, very clickbaity. Is Bitcoin the new gold? And showing a leprechaun with this pot of gold and a Bitcoin coming out of it. Wasn't that just creative of me? I love it. And so we'll talk a little bit about Pedro and I always kind of talk about this anyway. Just talk a little bit about Bitcoin, what it would take to replace gold as kind of the reserve asset of the world. Clearly on the way of doing that. Is it there? No. Do some things need to happen? Yes. For that to happen. But so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then in a little while, we'll also talk about this week. There's a project launching that's related to turned the wrong way again. To our sponsor, Audit Chain here. Audit Chain's team is launching another project called ice raid. But it's not really so much the project ice raid itself. It's the establishment of the category of projects called GovFi. And GovFi is hashtag term for, instead of having a large government bureaucracy of people that are there to do something over and over and over and over again, that can now be done by a machine or by an algorithm or by a blockchain, is instead of us paying via our tax dollars bureaucrats to do that, is the government paying individual people to crowdsource information and or run validating nodes. It's already happening with the Audit Chain's Pacioli project, in which they're paying people to audit SEC financial filings. And so if you can earn money auditing super complicated things like SEC filings, you should be able to earn money crowdsourcing other things, of which the government is filled with stuff and data that mindless, vast buildings of people sit around to work with, which could probably be done on the blockchain. SEC, IRS. I don't mean putting your private information and money and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about using smart contracts to validate filings and make sure it's right, and having an encrypted record of it on the internet. And that's not done by the government. It's done by people, and people get paid to do that. And it's moving the work off the government's back to people that want to take it on. It's called GovFi, and it's talk more about that later. Anyway, see the chart or the comment machine moving. Carmen Crypto in the house. Good morning, Chumbalones. What? God, my camera's slow. The Mexican Jesus. He says, good morning, Chumbalones and Chumbalinas. Welcome, Jesus, the Lord and Savior, on this St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, Mexican, not Mexican, Peruvian. Jesus mentions check out Infineon. They've dropped their placeholder token. You know what? I haven't been following Infineon. They changed stuff faster than I could deal with it. So I don't actually have any idea what you're talking about. They're Infineon placeholder tokens. And the original OPX stuff. I gotta get one of the Infineon guys to come on the show and give a status update. Maybe I'll try and get that done for later in the week. Mexico needs us for the coca. Yes, of course. But of course. Anyway, let's get back to the charts here, Pedro. Oh, what? You know what? Before you get to be so sad, tell us what's your background today. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, Yeah, you're still there, Pedro. Right.
Under heat because he keeps avoiding the real questions, and he smoothly gets by them, and people like him because he's really he's a likable guy, but his state's completely fallen apart. And then on the backside, you know what I'm saying? When you watch the video, once it's online forever.
Right.
So it's like, people start to question now, like, well, are you going to get to the subject? Or are you going to keep bypassing real subject, real questions in a smooth way? So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens as they start to really build their audience, and the audience starts to do a lot of things. We can hear him now.
Yeah, no, I flipped, I hit a hotkey and briefly turned your mic off. It was just
How long? Okay. So that's what this is about.
The problem is, we've discussed this before, Pedro, is that generally the left-leaning podcasts are not entertaining.
At all.
They're complaint fests. And even there's this new one out that I can't remember the name of it, but it raced to the top.
Love it.
It raced to the top of the podcast things. It all of a sudden it was ahead of Fox News and stuff like that. And I listened to it, and it was interesting for about 5 minutes, but it was really just people up there going, it was kind of like watching The View. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of crap. That's kind of,
one-sided. Yeah.
There's just constant complaining. There's no, storytelling, discussions of things. No even trying to I'll tell you, even Fox News does talk about the other side. They've hired some Democrats to come on and be on their roundtable with them. But it's depressing. And so the show, the most popular Democrat show, went really high and then just tanked. And that's why you see the bigger channels, MSNBC, CNN, and so forth, suffering from ratings explosions because it's just
implosions.
Even news has to have a little entertaining to keep people saying, "Oh, such and such host is on. I would like to watch that now," instead of just such and. Oh, what just happened?
Did we just lose? What just happened? Did you lose power?
Nope, no, we're good. It's just our frame rate keeps going down to like 3 frames per second for some reason, and I have a feeling it's Rumble because on our side of the system it's perfect, and we look like super HD, and on the Rumble side it's like hello, we are robots.
Hello, we are robots. Hello. Why do I need to sign in again?
Yeah, Mikester, the audio it's not just it seems to be on all of our feeds, but then again in the Rumble studio it's fine, but on the
What's up, Mikester? How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. It's real cool. Yo, you know what movie I saw this weekend?
what movie might that be?
It's called Mickey 17. And it was pretty funny. The only problem is the subliminal messaging in it was like, it just, again, like, come on. Can't you just have a funny movie without trying to like sway me to something bull? Like it literally detoured away from the movie. The Trump character. Like I was like, it's not even funny. Like it was.
Well,
I mean, it was. What's up?
Did they also toss in the required gay scene? Like every show now has to have, like all of a sudden the main thing is every show you watch, all of a sudden you're like,
yeah,
it's like not even relevant to the story. It's like,
yeah.
the story's about someone winning the horseshoe throwing competition, and then they all of a sudden go into a romantic sideshow about how he's struggling with his gay relationship. I'm like, I wanted to watch a show about throwing horseshoes. His personal life has nothing to do with this show. You know? And every show you watch, in fact, Mrs. Striking and I do, just as soon as it comes on, we're just like, oh, click. I mean, that's not like watching what was the show with the dude with the giant Schitt's Creek?
That was a great though. That was.
I mean, where the character, the character was gay, and that was part of the show.
Yeah,
it wasn't gay. That
wasn't.
Like,
yeah,
that was.
But it made it funny too. But
right,
it was funny. Like it was really good. Dude, great. Right.
But every show now, and I'm just complaining now because I can.
Dude, we sound like we're the View, bro. We sound like we're the View. Yeah. Holy crap.
Oh my God. So Joy. Well, Donald Trump is just a criminal. Oh, Whoopi, you're right on again, Whoopi.
You know what? I gotta say, like, they're all criminals. They all deserve jail. And the only reason why they don't is literally because they're at the top, and that's it. Biden, Trump, I mean, like I said, I like Trump from a financial standpoint and the fact that he is 1% for crypto. And bro, even many of the current immigrants who were here were like, dog, how come these guys get $2,000 to $4,000 and free housing, and what about us?
Right.
Like they literally went back across the border and then came back so they could get more stuff. Like, like they're like, hey, you want to go back and then come back in? Yeah, hey, it sounds great. Okay, Vato, let's go. I mean, I would almost go over there. Like, I literally thought, you know what? I look Mexican enough. I could go back and then come and then pretend like I'm Mexican. I can make $4,000 a month. Plus, I get to live in a 4-star hotel in New York and get free food sent to me, eh? Because they give you like do they finger? The only problem is if they finger.
Yeah, they do biometrics. They'd pull you up. Like, dude, you're in the Coast Guard. Oh, man, come on! I want my $5,000 a month.
Dude, that would be so good, man. Like if we could, dude, imagine you got Americans just going in there, be like, but here's the thing, some of them were documented, right? And they were still being unpaid, weren't they?
I don't know. Just the stories that have been coming out of the U.S. government, or out of governments, I'll say, within the borders of the United States, has just been outrageous. I mean, the things they're spending money on, stuff like that. Pedro, I'm gonna go take a second here to reset my Ethernet connection to see if it's a problem on my local network here. It shouldn't interrupt the audio or anything, but the picture might freeze.
All right. Well, let me
go ahead and do some going.
Actually, while we're here, I'm going to ask you guys to do me a quick favor. Shout out to our guys over at Rumble. Thank you so much for listening to us and our ramblings of craziness that we talk about that really hold no real value. And I mean, tell you the truth, half of it is just kind of like crazy. So, but thank you for coming and listening to us. All 11 viewers of you, thank you so much. Big day. Whoop, whoop. We got, I think, 10 more hours or 9.1 hours left before we get to be a part of the creator program over on Rumble. So we're kind of excited about that. We're going to hopefully at Rumble really kind of kick that up. But also more importantly, many of you guys over at Rumble, if you guys could do us a quick favor, listen, it's not hard, but just log in, set up whatever email you have, click in, make an account over at Rumble, and hit that like button. That helps us out so much. I mean, you have no idea. And make a comment saying, "Hey, Pedro, I don't like how big your nose is," and I'll be like, "Me too. Sounds great." And that's why I have to go like this, you know. But either way, make a comment, say something, shout out to us, and things are good. Things are real good. Also, we got our crew over here at X. What's up, my peoples? It is good to see every one of you guys there. Hope every one of you guys are blessed and doing well. Also, want to say to you, if you guys could also just make a comment, say what's up, holla at your boy, ask me to go check out a chart, and I'll check them out. It will be fun just to check out. And actually, I had somebody ask me to check out let's check it out here real quick. While we're here, hopefully I'm not stuck. Let's go. Yeah, I'm not stuck. Oh, and something happened. Come on. Oh, yeah, maybe I should take that away. And what is going on? What's going on? As you guys know, I'm a great singer. I sing all the time. It is what I do. Hey, I'm singing. Okay, so let's pull this up here real quick. I wanted to pull this up because I thought it was really interesting. Oh, shoot, this is my trading. Let's pull this up here real quick. We're going to cancel that. There we go. Go ahead. Come on. And it looks like, just give me one moment, guys, as I pull up the next show here. Or not next show, but next tab. I had the wrong tab. Here we go. Alrighty. You guys have I see some of the most amazing pictures that Microsoft puts up on their thing every pictures for Microsoft for the rest of the world to sit there and be like, click, that's gonna be nice. But I know that's like a real skill. So I have a friend of mine, Mr. P. Ooh, let's go ahead. All righty. I have so many of these things happening. Like it already. I have like 15 different things that popped up. All right. There it go. All right. Ooh, oh my goodness. I forgot. All right. So I know I just went kind of weird here. Alrighty. I think I said already like 15 times as well. Okay. And I need to go right here. There we are. This lets me in. Give me 1 second. This will populate here. And then we can check out Please, which is right now the most hottest meme coin there is in the industry as we speak right now. So let's check out some of these meme coins here. Come on. Verifying you are human. Okay, I get it. I would assume you already did it. Come on. You got it. You can do it. Come on, guys. Come on, deck screen. You can do it. You can do it.
Seems like we're not the only ones having internet bandwidth issues.
Yeah, maybe the North Koreans are attacking us again. Oh yeah, come on. Maybe maybe I could find it here. Please, please work for me. There we are. Wow, please is sitting at 712 market cap, or not, excuse me, as a position. There you guys got it right
It's
here.
down. It was at
Number
51 million market
712.
cap. What's it at now?
It's at 25.
So it's sold off by
Yeah,
half, which is
I'm looking at
predictable.
yeah, I'm looking at really that 22 million market cap, maybe my first entry. So we'll see what's up. Here we go. Is this did it work for me now? No, why aren't you working for me? Okay. Why don't you let me come in? There we go. Yay! I said I'm a human. So you think. Nah, I'm definitely human. But I am a Beni Elohim. Alrighty. Here we go. Bene, where is it at? Please, please.
Where did this Please originate from? I mean, the name. Do you have
Oh,
any idea?
I do not know, but I do love it though because JD Vance, bro. I just think it's funny.
Did someone say something in a speech like "Please"?
Yeah, probably. He probably, and then it exploded. Yeah, boom, came down. I'm looking. So the first area was kind of right here, but we're selling through. So this next area, what market cap is that? Let's check the market cap down here at that level. Oh, that's a 7 million. Oh, wow. This is really where I'm looking at for this to kind of come back.
The chart you have up there is a market cap chart.
Yeah, this is market cap, but I had the price chart up here. My first area that I was looking to buy, but just because the way we played off of this level here, I was like, nah, I don't like it. So I'm expecting it to kind of come down to this level right here, down that 7 milli. And I'm just gonna, we'll see. I'll put a small bag in it. If this thing does a billy, 2 billy down the road, buying $50 at 7 million, ain't a bad positioning. So we'll see what's up. All
Ladies and
right.
gentlemen, you're looking at Please. Actually, I could have put the.
Yeah, you can. It's definitely.
Who was it that was talking about that the other day?
Shogun
And
on the show.
Mike. Mike's
Oh,
or
Mike.
not Mike Stewart.
Mike's.
Mike. Yeah, he was trying. He's like, oh, I think it's got, another X in it, or another, go from 50 to 100 million. We were both looking at that chart, and we're like, and that was its high. He's like, it didn't get any higher than what he wanted, and he was going to hold off, and he didn't want to. He should have taken the 70% profits. He'd have way more money than he does now if he held on to it.
I'm telling you, people, listen, because crypto moves so well, taking the 70% really helps build up your powder so you can keep trading on a daily basis. And, and it keeps you at a high. And here's the thing, you can always let one run. You can always let that 30% run, and have something in it in case if it does go to a billy, in case if it does go somewhere else, right? Like, it's just one of those things that I'm always looking at to sit there and say, you know what, where else could we make? I mean, look at this. This was very clear. Like, it shot up. It was going to come back down to this level here. You could sit there and see it, right? Boom. We see it come down at that 6 milli, right? Boom.
Now I've got Vance's on the screen. I got the logo up, and I forgot that it was his they fattened up his face, and that is pretty funny.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Like I'm cracking up on it. And the one thing I do like about Vance is he's very like comical. He's not, you know what I'm saying? Like if he becomes president, um, I don't think he's the type that's gonna just get all super pissed off if you make fun of him or whatever, right? He's just it's it's gonna be. I think it'll be fun if he does become president. His vice president could become Rubio. I think that would be good.
And it's too far out to think of that. Too far
Yeah.
out. With Fweeze, it's interesting to note that its market cap is 25 million, but its volume over the past 24 hours is 24 million.
Yeah. It's interesting.
That's a lot. That's a lot of trading.
It's a lot of trading. That is
I'm
absolutely
sure
a
there's
lot.
no manipulation in that market at all. I'm sure it's all
No,
100% fair.
absolutely. What was interesting that he got behind this and was like, "Yeah, I'll support it," and that was the part that was so crazy. You know, he didn't launch it; somebody else launched it, but he'd be like, "All right, cool." And I wasn't. I think it was Shogun who told me like they actually he got behind it and posted the CA, which I thought was really interesting.
Who posted the contract address?
I think it was Vance. I think Vance like or his Twitter posted it was like, all right, cool, I'll get behind this. You know, it was like he can make fun of himself, which is a big deal. You know, like when you take yourself so serious that you're like, dog, like, are you for real? You know. So let's check this out here real quick. So yeah, I like this here. GSB. Um we this was a while back ago, but you can see here we came through our zones. It actually came back down. We're starting to see a little bit of a push up here from GSB here, but this area right here of that 24,000 really kind of came in strong and started seeing it push up. Where's my price?
GSB. We haven't talked about the boys
There
at
we go.
GSB in a while.
I know I've been following, bro. I'm still following them because the guy there was so like he was so about his community. I was like, how do you not want to keep supporting him? So like I keep looking at his chart because I think he's got such a strong community there. I mean, they're few, but I feel like they're mighty. And there's every now I'll see stuff that they post, and I'm like, they're still going. They're still going. So it's like you never know. You know, this could become like where is he from? Polish? Poland?
Yeah.
I mean, this could be a like a Poland thing where all of a sudden all these people get behind it, you know, and all you just don't know. You don't know what can happen with a meme coin. The fact that if it catches in the culture, you get a whole entire nation behind it. I mean, we have a crypto that is based off of our president. Like, like we have one for it's like you just don't know now. You don't know, and you kind of need to diversify all your stuff so that you can get in, at these right times. But we'll see what happens. But I like it. I like what we're seeing. With it, I still am looking in it. I was able to buy some down in this level here, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what's up. We'll see what's up. All right, let's check out a few more other meme coins here that we've gone over the past. Fire Chicken, boys over. They're still kind of in the doldrums of the fire chickenness, but
The fire chickenness.
yeah, well, hey, sometimes that's how it rolls. Um, but they're still kind of down here, so we'll see what happens. I still got hope for my boy Dr. J. Hopefully, we see some more buying come in. But hey, $10 here and there, don't hurt nobody. I spend $15 on just stupid things. So I spent $15 to $20 on freaking cell phone
Tacos.
charger cord, just tacos and cell phone charger cords that literally die within a week or two, which has been dog, bro. What is up with the crap like cell phone? I mean, when was the last
You
time you
got to
bought
pay the
your
money for the good cords. That's what I've learned.
How much? I mean, $50, $100 for a cord?
It's effing ridiculous. Just and like one cord charges your phone in 2 seconds, and the other cord takes a month, and you're like, what's going on here? And there's a tiny little chip in the end of the thing that regulates the power, and it should be $1 difference, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel for you people that have Apple phones. I mean, they just rake you over the coals with that stuff. But even the decent Android cords, they're somebody's cornering the market on it. I don't know. It's some kind of scam going on, because usually when things are able to be open sourced, it drives the price down. And the price of really crappy cords, you can get them
They're
for
going
$1.
up.
No, you can get a super cheap crappy cord. But
Where do you go to get $1?
You can get them at like Marshalls or in Canada, Winners, TJ Maxx, that type of stuff. In the impulse buy checkout line, you can get them cheap. But if your phone either overheats or the cord shorts out or it doesn't charge, it drives me nuts.
It lasts me a week or two. Like literally, I had one that lasted me for a year. It was a cheap one. It was legitimately a cheap one. It was like the $5.95. I bought it over at Five and Below.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Five and Below, and it was $5.95. What's up with
I always wondered that too. I'm like, guys, what's
yeah,
going on
like
here?
what's going on? What's going on here? But I went and bought it, and like legitly lasted me for a year. I was like, man, this thing is legit. Like, $5-6. So I went and bought another one because it died. And I went and bought another one, and like it went out in like, what was it, like 5 days, 6 days? So I was like, oh, maybe it was just a dud one, right? So I bought another one. Again, that one lasted 3 days. And I said, this is crazy. So then I bought one more because I was like, maybe it was that batch. So I went to a new place, another Five and Below. And again, it died like literally I plugged it in and one side of the thing worked. I had to flip it again. And so if I don't have the correct side, it won't charge. And so that one I just bought this weekend. And I was just like, this is so I'm like realizing, like you said, I'm gonna have to buy the $50 to $100 one that in hopes it lasts me longer than a week.
What do you do?
Like it,
What do you do to them that they only last a week? I mean, that's
I don't know, bro. I keep it right next to my bedstand, bro. And then goes bloop.
a week. So even the cheapo cords, I'll give you a little longer than that.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But it does what it does. So I mean, I'm like, whatever. All right, next. Okay, so let's check out a few of these meme coins here that we've been talking about. And see where they're at here. All righty then. And I'm going to sleep. Sorry about that. I was not able to get to my thing quick enough. Okay. That was really interesting. Alrighty. Then I'm going to go here. So Shiba Inu bounced off our area of that 0018. Came in with decent volume. And we're watching it start to rally here. So we want to go to that monthly, see where we're at. Okay. Below the 8, below the 20. Came in, put our supply wick. Came down, put our demand wick here. And now we're going to see what's up. Let's go to the weekly. Alrighty then. So here's the week starting March. Came down, sold off. Came back, retest that 8. You can see that the 8 here is definitely in control. And it's definitely pushing price down. So it looks like it's just kind of consolidating here. We should see this come and tap that 8-period moving average. So let's find a zone where we could trade off of that weekly. Give me 1 second. 1443.
Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the show, the new gold. Bitcoin, the new gold. That's my clickbaity leprechaun pulling a Bitcoin out of a pot of gold is, of course, tuned to St. Patrick's Day. That's all right, though. That's all right, because no one else clickbaits in this business at all, right? Nope.
Never.
But anyway, I brought that up because, what would it take? What would it take? Pedro and I talk about it a lot. And take a bunch of things to happen. First of all, Bitcoin would need to be a lot more stable.
Yes.
The volatility would need to come down to a much lower level. And Pedro, just let me know when you're done drawing the chart, and I'll flip it back to you.
Alrighty.
It would also need to grow in size a lot. Bitcoin's pretty big, but it's really small compared to everything else. Gold's market cap is around $14 trillion right now, dwarfing Bitcoin's 1.5 trillion. For Bitcoin to replace gold, its market cap would need to grow 10x, essentially 10 times, without collapsing or being. It needs to be a liquid. Gold is completely. Every ounce of gold is liquid to the U.S. dollar, pretty much, and or other fiat currencies, and it can be exchanged instantly. Bitcoin's liquidity is not as good. Bitcoin's liquidity is also drawn out in a lot of different places. It's not in a couple of centralized places. So there's a fragmentation of the market, which helps with security and safety, but not for a smooth running liquidity. Shouldn't say liquidity pool in gold, but I should just say the overall liquidity of being able to trade it. And of course, regulatory acceptance is one of them. Regulatory acceptance. Every government recognizes gold as a reserve asset. And they have for, well, since the beginning of time, I think. So it's got that going for it.
I'm ready.
And there's just a big shift in culture that needs to happen. It's happening with us in the industry and with banks and some investment houses and some governments. But the culture really is think gold, think gold, think gold. And you can see the change. For a while, Bitcoin moved up on bad news. Now Bitcoin moves down on bad news. Gold moves up on bad news. So till that reverses itself and a bunch of things happen. Still gonna be gold, ladies and gentlemen, but Bitcoin is catching up every day.
But I think what's interesting is that I don't even think about it like right now. I think about it when, let's say, 5 to 10 years from now, when we're going to asteroids to get gold. Like that is a fleeting dream right now. Gold will sooner or later become an asset that will very much be like, it will be a commodity, really base commodity that we'll need for industry to make computers just run so efficiently, but will not.
Totally.
Right.
And I think, sorry, we got a little delay here. Go ahead.
And in that same aspect, I think once that starts to happen, this is where Bitcoin is really going to shine. I think this is where in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, when you have Bitcoin, I talk about this. We've talked about this now for a while, that we're seeing the market at this base of 10,000 to 100,000 really set up for future, and I mean 20 years from now, 15 years from now, where it's sitting at, 3 million, 5 million of Bitcoin, because gold has become and silver has become so plentiful that it no longer matters, because we go asteroid mining, right? So that's when I think this is going to be more of the real asset to be able to hold. And I know it sounds crazy to sit there and say astro mining, but I mean,
well, when you raise the point about industry, this is what I try to tell people all the time. They're talking about wanting gold to go up, and I was like, you know what? We actually need gold to come down a lot in price to make it more like copper and a commodity that's used and consumed. Because it works so well in electronics. I mean, they use gold in a lot of things, and the market for recapturing that gold out of used electronics is really, it's big and it's expensive to do so. And so we need more gold, and we need it to be less expensive, and it'll help industry a lot.
Yeah. And imagine the day when gold literally becomes, $20, $10 an ounce. And I know it sounds crazy to sit there like, wait, what? That would cripple the economy. Not if you have the inverse situation when all of a sudden cryptocurrency becomes the real commodity, right? And you can sit there and play off of the actual blockchain and things become much more efficient and easy. Now, unless if there's a major government, what's the word I want to use? Intervention. I don't. That's the wrong. What's a negative word for intervention? Because intervention typically is more of a positive connotation. But if there is some form of government where they sit there and say, no, gold has got to remain the actual or backing of currency, and we're going to keep and make that the flight for risk, and we're going to kind of outlaw Bitcoin, that changes everything. But as long as the current administration and this mentality, as the government start to transition into a what's the word I want to use? Just more based off of a blockchain mindset, right? The efficiency mindset instead of just trying to use the government positions to gain your own wealth. If you actually did it as a service to the American people or to whatever organization you want to be a part of and grow the people, then that changes everything. And there you're going to see a huge push for technology within blockchain because it's just more efficient for the populace. It's just simpler. I mean, right now it's still got messed up sides to it, but that's only because there's not a lot of interludes or interplay between other organizations,
Well,
right?
Pedro, since you made a perfect time, we'll come back to SHIB in a minute.
Yeah.
You made an absolute perfect bridge for me to walk right into this quick talk about GovFi. On this is the Ice Raid website. You can't see it because the DYOR logo is covering the Ice Raid thing up. But on their blog, they have what's called article about GovFi, decentralized model for government efficiency. And to paraphrase what's going on with it, everyone knows that government spending results in monetary debasement. Inflation is the siren of poor fiscal and monetary policy. Since the purpose of government is to serve its people, the greatest resource the government has is its people. GovFi can revolutionize the way governments operate by leveraging decentralized infrastructure to align incentives. I'm going to take a screenshot here. Uh, let me get this one here. There. Anyway, but to go on more about this, GovFi can revolutionize the way governments operate by leveraging decentralized infrastructure to align incentives between state and federal agencies and citizens. By rewarding patriots for completing government tasks through crowdsourcing, GovFi offers a new model through Web3 and AI agents that reduce bureaucratic inefficiencies and significantly cut government spending, which leads to sound monetary policy. And this whole thing goes on to talk about that. And I'll drop the link in the chat here, and you can grab it and do what you want with it. But it's a good read. It's a good read to understand what they mean by GovFi, uh, and and all that. And Pedro, it's part of this. It's under the cover of this thing called Ice Raid, which they had a pre-sale for their token, and it's as I said, it's being run by Audit Chain, or the same team as Audit Chain, and our show wallet does in fact own some of the pre-sale too. I think about $20 worth. If you're talking, you're on mute. Just so but anyway, the whole thing about GovFi, crowdsourcing, intelligence gathering, reversing taxation and borrowing. One of the most compelling aspects of GovFi is the potential to shift the financial relationship between governments and citizens. Instead of one-way taxation to sustain government, GovFi allows voters to earn income by participating in government functions. As government becomes more efficient, it earns profits that allow it to stop borrowing and pay down its debt. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, if you go to that link, All of Ice Raid's social links are at the bottom of the page, which are the scroller here. And you're still on mute, Pedro, if you're talking. Don't hear you.
So it looks like my computer decided it wanted to just go completely black. I look like I literally have the black screen of death here. And did my computer just die?
Let's see. Let me bring your screen back up. We ain't got jack shit.
Yep, that looks like what happened. Alrighty, so looks like I'm gonna have to restart it. That's interesting. Hopefully it's not dead.
Now I hear you. Does everybody else hear you? You had to switch your mic there. Go ahead and say something again, Pedro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Your mic is hot. Yeah.
Alrighty. So
we all have. I'm having some kind of issue here today. Though I don't believe it's me because my Rumble screen is fine.
Yeah, my PC looks like it just literally just shut down. It's interesting.
You overheated it, Pedro. The whole talk of gold and Bitcoin and all that just threw it for a loop.
Yeah, I got it all excited. It's like, what? Unlimited gold? What's going to be interesting is as that starts to happen, how many countries are going? I mean, we're going to have a new space age. I mean, just once America has the ability to start to go out to the asteroid belt, mine, and come back, a completely different industries. I mean, obviously, we're going to probably use these humanoids.
Right. We were just talking about the GovFi thing and bringing we had morphed from gold into the GovFi topic. And we're talking about how, in essence, instead of people paying the government can be paying people to do all these tasks. For instance, I run a validating node for Pacholi, Audit Chain's protocol that analyzes the SEC's filings in the Edgar system that companies put on their system. I mean, public companies got a file, and other people used to have to go get Deloitte and other big accounting firms to go through and read all these companies' financials to pick out things that are wrong and find areas that they might be fraud or lying or incorrect. And now regular people like me can run these validating nodes and earn money from it to check all of these companies. Every time they do a public filing, the node can go out. Someone can tell the node or the protocol to say, "Hey, I want to check Tesla's filings," and they pay to do that. And my node does it, and I get the rewards from it. Before, the SEC was in charge of checking them, but they never checked any of them. That was the biggest thing. I always thought the SEC reviewed the filings, and that's why they had a zillion employees. They don't review any of them unless it's brought to their attention that something is wrong. And I found that very surprising. And so companies.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought the SEC reviewed them.
So no. What do all those lawyers do then?
That's a great question. But
they're not. What are they? I'm just curious. Like, what are they doing?
Maybe like most of the government employees that are now working from home, they're like, what are they doing? Well, they're watching their kids. They're doing all kinds of stuff like that. I don't know. I was very shocked. I was very shocked that actually nobody was reviewing them except outside private parties to find out information about companies. And to be honest, that's what they're there for. The Edgar was developed, the SEC's filing system was developed as a central place for companies to put all their financial statements so the public could go to them and look through things, and so they could have all the information. But I always assumed that the SEC also did to make sure companies were in compliance with certain things, because there are, in any filing, there's I don't know, tens, hundreds of documents or signatures or statements that are required disclosures. And the SEC does not look for those at all. But Audit Chain's Pacioli does, which means people like me, regular old Tom, the striking balls dude here, is actually performing some of the SEC functions and getting paid for it. And that's the whole thing going on with GovFi. Hopefully, this GovFi movement will get to the attention of the crew at Doge, and they'll use it for the IRS, because if a protocol can be used to check up on complex financial documents, it certainly could be used for 90% of income tax filings. And we could just blockchain and Web3 that whole thing. You fill out the tax form online, goes off into the computer land. Yep, it's correct. Or nope, you're missing this field, or you didn't do something else. It's fine. Instead of the government providing a big bureaucracy to do it, independent people are running the compute, the processing power to do it, and getting paid for it by the government. Would pay them to do that instead of us paying the government. It's an amazing concept, GovFi. You'll hear me talking about it more. One thing, because Audit Chain is a sponsor here, and two, Pedro and I now own some of this ice raid in our show wallet.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Alrighty. Okay, so you can see that. So I was able to get it up and running. All right.
Thank you, Excruciating Guinea. Now there's a name, Excruciating Guinea, for your Spam Engagement of the Day award. Thank you. You win. Appreciate the spam engagement on Twitch. Thank you. I shouldn't even click them, but it's fun just to see who shows up every day to pitch their crap.
I like it. I have no problem with it. I actually like it. We've gotten a few viewers from there, and I think it's kind of cool. I know it sounds weird, but
I like that we get viewers from it. I was just saying I shouldn't even mention the clickbaity or hammers trying to sell us views.
Oh yeah. To come up and tap.
There, Pedro? Uh-oh, you dying again? Oh, where can Pedro be?
Can you see me now? Hello?
The internet took him away from me. Yeah, we can see it. Your voice comes and goes.
All right. What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
You know what I forgot to do? This morning, I forgot to do this. I'm going to have to kick all these guys out. It's funny is as soon as I put my VPN on, I don't deal with this. And I forgot to do that this morning.
Broadcasting software and VPNs do not mix.
Typically, you're right. But whenever I don't, I typically will get ransacked with everything. And I've done this multiple times.
What do you mean ransacked? Oh, you left. You left Pedro left the house again. For our 8 viewers today, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. As I was saying last week, Pedro's got some issues again. I think his computer crapped out on him again. Tom's turning over a new leaf in life, and that is the positivity side of things. No longer addressing the negative aspects of things. Like a good example, Pedro, I think your mic is working again. A good example is the three recent trades. Now, admittingly, these are small trades because I was practicing, but I was using small amounts, high leverage, looking for reversals, that type of stuff. And of course, I'm not skilled at getting those yet, but that's not the point. The point is all three of these recent trades, the exchange wicked into my stop and closed them out. Hitting him exactly. And then retracing and following the pattern that I trade set up. And so it closed me out at a loss, lost my $5. And previous Tom would be like, those MFers, they're out to get me. And how dare they, blah, 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 blah. There's scam. And new Tom does this, looks at it and goes, now how did I screw that up? I need to better learn how to do that instead of just thinking that some massive corporation is out to steal my $5. And so there's a positivity and a mindset. And I hadn't really heard this a lot in life. But when I started really listening to Pedro and getting into saying, you know what, I want to do more trading to earn money rather than just messing around with it, is that the positive mindset makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. For one, you're a happier person. And actually, I generally am, as you guys can tell, I'm a pretty happy person here. But your inner demons don't come out because your trade got stopped out 3 times in a row. Really, what the thing is, well, I need to learn to set my stops in better places. Anticipate where they're going to go. But the positivity outlook. One of the things that I learned is that when you're positive and focused on it, you follow your rules better. You don't make rash and dumb decisions. And in trading, you make one wrong decision. It's bad. It's like, trading's like Major League Baseball. You're like, oh, Tom, where are you going with this? We're getting to become baseball seasons. You can hear me talking about more about baseball. The game's going fine. Everything's going fine. Everything's going good. Your team's winning. It looks like they're going to crush the other team. The other team's coming back a little bit, but doesn't have that mojo. And then they make one error. Your team makes one error. It's 2 outs. There's a guy on first. All he's got to do is catch the ball. And he drops. Makes a simple mistake like that. And every baseball fan knows this, is that your team is going to lose then. You're like, no, they're up by 7 runs. They can't lose. All I have to do is get one more out. Never happens. That as soon as they make that key error at the wrong time, every baseball fan knows, oh my God, my team's lose. And the next guy gets up, hits a home run. Then the pitcher walks the guy. Simple base hit. Boom. Then grand slam. Boom. You're done. You lose. Just like that. And that's what it's like in trading. You lose your mindset. The guy in the outfield he lost his mindset because he's going to catch the ball and he goes, ooh, look at them. That girl in the audience, in the stands. Yeah. Oh, God, drop the ball. As soon as you lose your focus, you make an error, and that error costs you way more money than just losing your stops in normal trade setups. And I have learned that the hard way. And it's no more. It's no more, because what Pedro has taught me and what other just listening to people's podcasts and stuff like that is that you can Pedro, previously I said you can control one thing in trading, but there's 2 things now that I've learned that you can control. One is your outlook, your positivity, your mindset. You can control your mindset. And 2, you can control how much money you lose by using stop losses and saying, I will only lose this much. If I lose 1 or 2 per day, however many your risk tolerance is per day, said you can only lose that amount of money. Everything else you have no control over. You don't have control over JEETs. You don't have control over the market or big hedge fund trading and massive movements or unexpected tweets from the president. You don't have any control of it, but you have control of how much money you can lose. All you have to do is work upward from that, and you're a winner. See, positive outlook. All right, Paige, I'm not sure if you got your system right. I still can't hear you. I've been going on like this because...
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you again.
Wow. Okay. All righty. Today, it just decided it wanted to do its own thing. My computer was like, you know what, Pedro? Go after yourself. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you too. Love you. All righty. Well, listen, Jennifer, it's okay. You're okay. That's all right. I call my...
I don't have much time left, Pedro, here, but I got a little bit of time.
I was hoping I could go over some meme coins here.
Yep.
So
yeah, I would just give myself a good 15, 20 minutes and then...
okay. All right, so I like this area right here sitting on that weekly 8 period moving average, sitting near the 50 period moving average as well. So I'd expect us to see us come and tap this area. Monday we came up, or Sunday we went up. I'm expecting us to go up here, tap this area, and then see it could potentially come back down. So we'll see what's up, what happens there. Um, where's the other one? Doge. Doge is looking pretty weak here. Um, but we did a nice little bounce last week off our lows here, which is going to be that 14 cents. It's that 14.50 area to that 14 cent area. It's pretty nice. Solid rally all the way up, back up to that 17 cents. So we potentially could see us really find some support at this level here.
You got it behind your head.
There we are. We could see some support coming in for a while, consolidate. But if Bitcoin doesn't find support, which I'm not expecting it to, um, it's going to most likely come back down to these lower levels of that 11, 10 cent area. And then from there, we'll find out from there. But I like this area here for right now. Again, we could be tapping that 20 or 22.17 area, as well as that daily 20, which could be the 18. So these are just little pivot points that you could actually take shorts off of, where you can enter at. So I like that area here, that 22, 23 area, and then that 18 to 19 area, cent area. And I'm looking for that short to continue down into the lower levels here of like that 12, 10 cent area as we continue. And which one do we want to do? Brett, Bones, Bonk. What other meme coins, other major meme coins do you want me to pull up? We can do Brett. And we'll just check out. We'll just do Brett. So Brett came down to our areas right here that I was expecting, which is nice. If you guys are looking to pick up, that's that 2.8 area to the 2.0 area. I like these area here. This is the lows here. And so the fact is that we're having a decent amount of buyers coming in, meaning over a period of 3 to 4 days. Not a lot, but it's still that this basing here. We could see it basing here at these levels. So if you're looking and you're trying to re-enter into Brett, this is a nice area here to kind of start to dollar cost average. I want to see. I'm not telling you to go in large. What I'm saying is what I'm going to do is go through and just put a small little base, see what happens. And it then goes up a little bit more and puts in a higher low, right? Where it looks something like this. Boom, boom, right? Then I'll probably look to capture a little bit of right here, which I would want to play in again. But those are just, I'm looking to buy the lows as we come into zones. And so I bought a little bit of base, or excuse me, Brett, as it was moving up, but I've kept things pretty slim here simply because, well, one, I've expected Bitcoin to sell off here and to get going here. Again, it's going to be, I believe it's going to be a real quick sell off. And then institutions are going to sit there and go, okay, it's time to buy. And again, I've talked about us coming down to that 30, dollar area is really what I'm looking at. So we'll see what happens from there. But that is kind of this area that I'm looking at. So I personally could be buying it. Bonk, I think I just went over Bonk here. Yeah, we came down at the same level here. So it's, yeah, everything's bottoming out, this is awesome, man. It's not awesome, but like I want to be able to buy in at these lower levels as we continue. I have such huge communities, which is the best part, right? Like sooner or later, somebody said something about Lunic, which I thought was really interesting. What's up, Jesus, the Lord and Savior, Jesus, lunar pump fund launch, a lunar
Hey
pump fund.
Pedro, one second
Yeah.
here. The camera feed has dropped.
Ooh.
Not yours, mine. That's feeding the stream. Something's going on with the Rumble streaming again here today. They don't have it. It's new. They haven't worked it all out yet. And what's going
Okay.
on?
It's all right. Here. So what you're saying is that it's just having a glitch in your system or in the broadcasting system.
I will attribute it to the broadcasting system. When I file a help ticket, they will attribute it to me.
As always, yep.
I just can't get the camera to show up here.
It's always our fault. I had a call. It was literally their app. And I was like, look, I'm paying for this. It's your app. Fix it. And they're like, well, it's not. And I was like, look, I'm just gonna leave then because you guys aren't you're not working.
That's really weird.
Yay.
All right, ladies and germs, give us a second while I bring this all back here.
You're looking good, my friend, though. There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, not sure what you're able to hear or not here, but I'm trying to bring
I can
this
see
back here. See about that. There we go. Brought it back.
From the dead.
The last I had, you were checking on Brett. I don't know if you still got that up.
Yeah. I just got through it. We'll go through it again. Brett. So you can see here, Brett came down to our area here. Nice little plays. So we're seeing some volume come in for buyers. I like this. We want to see it consolidate for a minute and then potentially buy it up once we start to see some higher lows. So some that we look like this right here. Boom. Right. That's really what we want to see. So at those lows is where we're really looking to buy as it comes down to these lower levels. So that's about it. Let's go ahead and pull up a couple other ones here.
I need a good look at Pepe here soon.
Let's check out Pepe. I like it. Kayla Gaming.
Trading volume on Pepe is just outrageous. I mean, if you've got literally, if you have $10 million, the trade can instantly be filled.
How is that?
Because it's got a $3 billion market cap and almost $1 billion a day in volume.
And they're on base? What's
this one is I don't know which I only know this is the biggest Pepe now. I don't know if it's the original.
Okay. So which one is that? Because
price at 722.
I got 736.
Yeah, my.
Let me see here. Check out the volume. 18.5 trillion.
In total volume traded over time?
No, I'm just looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Volume moving average. Okay.
I want to see. I was off camera there as I was shoving some leftover pizza in. But
how
believe
was
it or not, it's very strange. I can get good frozen pizza from the grocery store here. Very odd. It's actually delicious. The crust is good, and it's just as good on day 2 coming out of the fridge.
That is the best, dude. I love.
I can eat it for breakfast. I can eat it Cold pizza, 5 meals a day.
People don't realize like how important pizza is on the East Coast here. Like it is a staple, bro. Like you can build a. I mean, if everything's got completely shut down, everything went to, you can build a brick oven and cook it. You know what I'm saying? All you need is dirt and bricks and wood, and you can make a pizza oven. That's all you need. I would do that. If things fell apart here, I would definitely be like, no, go get the bricks. Here we go. Anyways, so here we go. Gonna remove these here. We came down. Definitely, it's coming down. Yeah, Pepe looks like it's going up to come down, but it is showing some decent volume. I like this area here, though. What's the market cap of it right now? You said 3
3
billion.
billion. 3 billion.
Ooh. I think we could come down to that. What's the price of it's at 3 billion right now? We're seeing this.
The
At
price is
7.
at a lot of zeros. 7.
We can lose probably another billion, 1.5. So I could see it at 1.5 billion here at this level right here, because it's really playing off of that weekly zone. The weekly A is playing, and last week we had a decent amount of buy volume come up, but it was really fighting off of that 89. So it's coming back up, test that 8. The real test will be that 8-period moving average on the weekly zone here. So this is one of those things that you're going to need to pay attention to right here. And that is definitely. Yeah. So right here. Yeah, so if it comes up to that 8.5 area, to that 8.26 area here, where the 200-period moving averages on the 4-hour, that's going to be the test. So we could see it push all the way up to here. If it's able to hold this, put it in a higher low. So it comes from here, and then this goes up and then comes back down. You want to see a higher low again. And if you see a ton of volume, something that looks like that, then yep, I'd expect it to continue up and then see it. But unless it does that, I want to buy down at these lower levels of that 633 area. Actually, that's even at that 4.6 area to the 400 area here. 380 to 400 area on Pepe. This would be the good area to buy. But we'll see. It all depends on what BTC is going to do. If BTC starts to sell off again, then I don't think we'll have lower lows. I just think we'll see a lot of the meme coins consolidate and then really see it just kind of play around at these levels. So that's it in a nutshell for our Meme Coin Monday. Good old thanks Patty's holiday here. I don't know what to call it. Hey, yeah. All right, man. So
Carmen says, I do love Geno's East. That is a Chicago one. Crypto Postman, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. What kind of pizza? When I lived in the East Coast, it was only thin crust.
Yeah,
thin crust, New York style. It's just, I live in Chicago. They serve this like pizza sandwich type thing, which is tasty if you want a pizza sandwich. But I want a slice that you can pick up and hold, bend it with your fingers, and
yeah,
and it's delicious and it tastes good. And this is like, arguing politics. Which kind do you like? But that's my stand, and I'm sticking with it. Not going to the other side. And just when you find that right pizza, it just. Pedro, I've told you this story and some of you other things. I had the pizza place that when I used to live in Monmouth County, New Jersey, there was a place called Umberto's. Umberto ran the joint. My old Italian family ran the joint, made the best pizza until he dropped dead in front of his oven, age 65 or so. Son Silvio took over the business, running it for the family, making the pizza every day. I went in, got a slice and an RC Cola all the time. And then I moved away, went out to work in Chicago and all that. Visit. After 15 years, I went back. Silvio's standing there and he goes, "Hey, where you been? We don't got RC anymore. Now we got Pepsi." He knew, he remembered. So I had my slice of cheese, sometimes two, and my cola. And then not recently, but I've been telling this story now for 5 years. About 5 years ago or so, Silvio died in front of his oven, cooking the pizza just like his dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was the best pizza. It was so good. It was my favorite place, my second favorite place. It was down the road, and the ownership changed and the pizza changed. And I never found another place in my life. The place outside the World Trade Centers was close until I moved to Chicago, a different neighborhood in Chicago, and the little place called Johnny's advertises having New York style pizza. And I was like, I'm going to go test them out. I know in one bite, just, nope.
Yeah.
Every place in Chicago says New York style pizza. I argued with one guy once. I'm like, it's not New York style pizza. He's like, yes, it is. We bring in the same stuff. I'm like, doesn't taste like it. And he was out of business in 6 months. Johnny's, I go in and I take that first bite. Well, first thing I notice, it's a bunch of Asian women doing the cooking. I'm like, okay, this is odd. So I believe they're Korean. And I'm like, this is odd. Never see this in a New York style pizza joint. It's the Italian dudes and some other New York Brooklynites that have moved somewhere else. And I look and the pies, they look like it. They look like the New York style pies behind the thing with the light on.
Yeah.
And I get the slice and I take the bite and I hear it. I hear, ah! And it was very close to my favorite style, but it was great. And it lasted about 2 years. And then the building they were in, the landlord sold the building. And so they had to move. So the pizza, it was just this tiny little joint. So they had to get a new location, which meant an investor. And then all of a sudden, none of the Korean ladies worked there anymore. And then it was just regular Joe's. And now the pizza is just the same old drivel you get it anywhere else. Just doesn't have that mojo anymore.
Man,
I can tell that story over and over. I love it. I'm thinking about it right now. That taste, that succulent taste in your mouth that starts watering. It's like, Silvio, why'd you have to die at your oven? Drop dead.
Why? It's interesting, dude. Pizza out here is life, man. Like, people understand. There was a couple of friends of mine, they're church friends, and they went out west, and they were like, oh, you want some pizza? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll try it out. And they started eating the pizza, and I remember because I'm from out west, and I know the pizza out there is trash. I mean, the Mexican food out here on the East Coast is trash, but the pizza out here is banging. So it's like it's a give and take. It's a give and take, you know. And so I remember I knew the story was going to go. They're like, we went out there, they sat us down. They're like, oh, this is so good, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll check it out. And they are there, and so they're sitting there, and one of the guys, he's the first one. He sit there, and most East Coast people out here will eat it hot, right? Like, you just like burn your mouth, like scolding, but it's good. And so this guy picks it up, and he goes, first of all, it was too hard and a little too thick for you just to grab it, with your yeah. And he goes, but maybe it does. And so he takes a bite of it, and he's just like, the point when you eat something and you're expecting something else, and he's like, and then all of a sudden everybody looks. The people from the East Coast kind of look at him and go, "Oh no, it's gonna be horrible." Like, and the people that they were with, they're like, "Oh, this is great," and they're like Yeah. I think they only ate like 2 slices. They're like, "Don't you want more?" Like, "Nah, we're not that hungry." Like, but they said they went to a burrito place, these taco trucks. See, out here on the East Coast, you don't have taco trucks, I mean, it's not really it's not like what it's out on the West Coast. And man, they like, "Dude, what is up with them taco trucks, bro? They are fire." Like, so good. This random taco truck place, you're thinking, "Oh, it's not gonna have that good of food," and you sit there and you're like
Amazing
it's
what
almost
fresh cilantro does to a taco instead of crappy frozen restaurant piled in a plastic bin cilantro. It
bro, they grow that stuff. They literally grow
blew
it,
my mind once when I had a proper with fresh
bro.
cilantro in it. I was like, oh,
Our dog,
oh,
they
is
throw
that
the
delicious?
lime. You throw the lime up in it, and then you throw, the salsa. But the salsa
Right back, gonna go get
out
some
there,
tacos.
dog, the salsa out there is different. I was just talking to a friend today. Hopefully, he's listening to us. Um, PBD. Uh, but he like, dude, there's something to it. Like, I don't know. I don't know why, but it meets something in my heart. Like like I don't every time I think about it, like it does something in me. It's like it moves me from beyond. There's something to it. Good Mexican food, bro. It's just like good pizza. It's good salsa. Oh, I miss Central. I don't miss Central Valley for anything but the Mexican food. Legit. Like family, all that, but I don't care. It's for the birds. But the Mexican food, bro. Good lord. Anyways, enough with my shenanigans here. As you can see, our illustrious viewers are definitely sticking around. What are we, 2 over on Rumble?
Yeah, I knew it'd be a light day today. I mean, I personally have a number of friends that are already at the Irish pubs. The
Yeah,
Irish parades are in full force in certain places.
full
Um,
force.
and where the Canadian northern headquarters of DYOR Media are located here, otherwise known as living room window out here, I can see down to the street in Ottawa where the Irish pubs are. Not from my window, but if I go, there's a terrace. If I go out, look out over the terrace, and there's already college students already out there. There's big University of Ottawa's right over here, and
Oh, bro,
they're already tying it on, as they say.
that's what's up, dude.
Everyone's forgetting they're Americans or Canadians today and arguing about tariffs and this and that. And
A good old Guinness.
oh, I wanted to bring this up, Pedro, and I didn't.
One,
This
one of
is
the
this is a
hottest
good one.
blonde.
This is a good one. It's back to politics and complaining about morons.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yesterday, Donald Trump mentioned that all of Joe Biden's pardons are declared null and void because they were signed with an auto pen. They were signed not only with one auto pen, but with 2 or 3 different auto pens. For those of you who don't know, the auto pen is the automatic signing thing that politicians and corporate executives and a zillion people use to sign lots of paper documents. Obviously developed before electronic signatures and just insert cut and pasting your signature into a document.
Yep.
But regardless of how things get signed, is that all of a sudden on Twitter, on X, or on Blue Sky, or wherever it is, everybody becomes a constitutional expert. All of a sudden, every account's like, oh, yeah, but this is unconstitutional. Supreme Court's going to overrule that, and all those guys are going to have to go to jail. And for the amount of people that just can't use Google and
That's
type
it.
U.S. Constitution, it's right in the United States Constitution. It says the president has the power of pardon, the authority to pardon people, except for impeachments. And that doesn't just mean himself. It means if a federal judge is getting impeached or the head of the IRS is getting impeached, he can't subvert Congress's will to impeach somebody. But according to most people on Twitter, The fact that Joe Biden did not individually sign all 3,500 pardons means they're invalid, and a court's going to overturn them. There's no provision in the Constitution to have a pardon overturned by a court. It says the president has the authority to do it. And people have tried in the past, and the Supreme Court has ruled, no, but that is a power granted by the Constitution, and the Supreme Court doesn't have any way to overrule that. And not only that, well, the signing procedure isn't right. Doesn't say it has to sign. Other parts of the Constitution, guess what, Pedro? It does say you have to sign. Ladies and gentlemen, all you constitutional experts out there, where in the Constitution does it say that you have to sign? That Congress has the power of the franking privilege. The franking privilege is being able to send things to the U.S. Postal Service for no charge, or at the expense of the government, really, with only their signature. No stamp. They just had to sign it. And congressmen sent out millions of letters, all of the things that they sent out to their constituents, those updates, not campaign stuff, but your update from your congressman you get, it doesn't have a stamp on it or a bulk mail thing. It just has a signature in the corner. Do you think the congressman signed all 435,000 mailers he sent out?
Of course.
Just give me a minute, George. I got another 434,000 to go. No, they use auto pens for that, or printing techniques called a printing press. But the point is, it's the intent to do it, and how the signature gets there doesn't matter. Courts have ruled that's fine. That's all that stuff's fine. And what the courts have also ruled is that, no, the president doesn't need to sign something. He can literally just say, that dude's pardoned. As long as all official actions of the United States government, which is also in the Constitution, have to be published publicly. And that is done via the Federal Register. As long as it's published in the Federal Register, it's happened. It's done. It's pardoned. Can't do anything about it. President doesn't even have to know the person or know about the case. Everyone's like, well, Biden didn't study all those cases. No, he's not pardoned. That doesn't work. Yeah, there can just be a big list that the pardon committee came up with, and they say, we think this is a good list. And the president can look at it and go, pardoned. Or he can just say, I pardon everyone that my staff recommends, and I'll accept it as that. There's nothing that can say that he can't do that. Same thing. It's the same thing whether he individually does it or just blesses a list. Ominous, dominus, done. But you would think on Twitter that everybody was suddenly a constitutional expert. He can't do it. And there's a couple different versions of the signature. Now they're arguing which one is the valid one. And the other ones, whoever got the invalid one is not pardoned. Morons. And I was reading it last night, and I was Twitter battling some of these people. And, I love doing it. I do that every now and then to keep my engagement up.
God, you are so good at it, though. Like, I read through your stuff, dude, and I'm like, dang, he rips. I mean, you do it so slyly, though, as well. The way you're quite, like, he doesn't just come out and say it. He'll just be like, well, what about this? What about that? And the person's like, well, almost like the Socrates method. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
you did a great job.
You're never going to argue with someone on Twitter and say, you are an idiot. Every once in a while, I call someone an idiot. Oops, because they deserve it. And more likely, it's a subtle insult. Like, dude, you can use Google to figure out the actual truth on that.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. You can kind of figure out which accounts are Russian trolls, which are not, because the trolls don't respond to you.
Yeah.
The real people respond to you. No, you're just a complete idiot. You don't know anything. Okay, yeah. I actually went and read the Constitution. It just says, let's say he has to sign it. Oh, yeah, but that's tradition. Oh, yeah? Well, tradition had black people as being slaves, and that's not good anymore, is it? We got rid of that. Not how it works, guys.
Dang. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, this is like my biggest fear now that the right is starting to definitely get more power and we're starting to see things push. It's like Dude, I just want to go back to just common sense, dude. Like, how hard is that? Like, can't we just get along in enough in a way? And all right, then let them up easy,
I love these.
What's
Mikester,
that?
yes, you can auto sign all of your checks and cash them. You don't actually have to sign a check.
No, you do not.
All that matters is whether the bank accepts the note or not. And they used to use the signature and actually compare it in the past when the check would come in and they'd look at it and they'd look at the account because there weren't even account numbers on the old checks. They would you just sign it and they'd look, oh, that's Jim's signature. Okay, I'll take it out of his account. But you can just write an X, as long as the bank signs it. You can use an auto pen, no contract. No, people are like, oh yeah, he has to sign it. Contracts are not official unless you sign it. Like every mortgage and contract now is electronically signed. Say everyone's mortgage is invalid. Wow, that screwed up the title insurance market. Woo. It's like all you have to do is think one step out of the box, out of your little complainer box, and think, well, if this was true, how did it affect other parts besides pardons? Well, congressmen got it. No, they have the power of the franc. They can use electronic signatures too. People get the president has to sign zillions of documents. You think, back in the day when it was George Washington, he was just like, okay, I'll sign all these things. Literally, the next president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, said, wait a minute, this is too many things for me to sign. And they developed the auto pen. It just wasn't an electric. It was a crank version, and it just traced the pattern. And so they had assistants there cranking out Thomas Jefferson's signature.
Boop,
right.
Boop.
People are like, oh, yeah, you can't do it. It's like, it's never been done before like this. Literally since Thomas Jefferson.
He was actually pretty bro. You ever seen the so he was very pragmatic, and so there's I think it's Thomas Jefferson Bible. He took out any major it's like the New Testament, and any major healings, anything like Jesus did, or anything that was just seemed like supernatural, right? He actually moved out of the Bible. I think it's called the Thomas Jefferson Bible. I forget exactly, but I went through because somebody was like, "Oh, have you ever read that?" And I was like, "Nah." And then so I went and looked it up, and I was like, "Oh shoot, that's crazy." And what he did, he just basically cut and pasted, like things together, and I just thought it was really interesting because, like, he was so pragmatic. Like I forget who said it, but there was like there is no other greater brain in the Oval Office next to Thomas Jefferson, and then I forget the other person, but he's the one who really put together wrote and put together the Constitution. And somebody once told me that if he was to run for office today because he had a speech impediment, he wasn't a great orator, that there's no way he would have been president.
Right. Well, times change. I mean, got to know how to use social media.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump showed us
Right.
that.
Dude, you talk about the biggest slip up that the Democrats played. They did two biggest things. They kept pushing, hey, we want to mutilate your children. And two, we're going to go knock on your doors. Dude, me as a door knocker knows, listen, that doesn't work anymore. Unless you got tough skin, nobody wants you to come knocking on your doors, especially if you're the guy who they don't want to vote for. Like, you're not going to win people over.
All you're going to do is make people angry. Get the shotguns out, Merle.
That's, I mean, like, right.
Get the truck started. We're going to chase them down.
That's why Democrats are trying to do the whole entire social media now and trying to do podcasts. And it might work. We'll see what happens, but hopefully they change the idea of, hey, let's mutilate your children and kill. Go ahead.
I was going to say that their message is working in one area, and that's among young, stupid people who they've managed to convert millions of people, probably say under the age of 22, to think Elon Musk is not a good, successful person. And there's all these videos of, like, we'll say, what would that one person call them? Gender goblins.
Yeah.
Keying Cybertrucks and Tesla
So
cars,
dumb, bro.
just running up and drawing swastikas on them, and like, oh, he's a Nazi, and like, and so that means you should deface his truck and ruin someone else's property. It's not even Elon's truck; they sold it to Jim down at the corner store.
Yeah.
And the craziness that's coming out of these people is just nuts. But their messaging has worked. That Elon was awful. He was stealing. People actually think Elon's stealing money out of the treasury. They're like, oh, he's just taking money out of the treasury now. He's getting richer. Like, well, how do you do that? You just go in and the laundry basket and say piles of money and say, there you go. I can just take it.
Yeah.
One guy said he's probably just taking cash out. It's like, the treasury has no cash, right? He's like, oh yeah, that's all the cash. I'm like, no, the mint has the cash. Treasury doesn't have any cash. Mint sends it to banks. Oh, well, he can still just go get it. I think that would be on video somewhere of Elon like walking out with a basket full of money.
You popped in my head. It was like the old-fashioned cartoons of the guy all dressed in black with the little eyes. He's like, like
or like this guy here, the leprechaun, with the pot of gold.
Yeah.
I literally think he's stealing stuff. And then they gave him grief. Oh man, I could just complain all day. Now I sound like the Democrats. His Doge thing, they're fixing the dead people thing.
Yeah.
And they accidentally pulled money out of an alive guy's account because he had been marked as dead in the system. And they gave Elon, oh, it's your fault. You're the top guy. You're blah, blah, blah. It's you. He got the worst. The Twitter and Blue Sky were just a fire with blaming him for it. The problem happens 500 times a month. And it's been going on for ages. And like, even in 2008, George Bush had assigned someone to try and fix it. And they couldn't fix it. And then Obama tried to assign someone to fix it. Couldn't fix it. And
Elon Musk is fixing it.
He's fixing it because he grabbed this guy from that department and grabbed this guy from this department and said, let's go in the same room and fix this. And we're not going to come out until we fix it. And they're fixing it. Imagine that. They're fixing it. But it was happening 500 times a month that someone would be accidentally marked dead. And the government would retrieve the Social Security money that they sent after the date from the bank account, if possible. But they're blaming, well, you're the top guy. So the blame starts with you. Well, what about it a few months ago when the other guy was president? Oh, well, he wasn't even trying. That's the point. He wasn't trying.
Yeah. Well, I think what's really interesting, more importantly, is also the back end of, all right, the fact that he's actually going after waste, that we're actually looking for it. We know that Obama was trying to do that. We know that like Clinton was able to actually do a lot. Like we know that like Obama was trying to slow down the border crossing. Like we know this. Like he's on literally the stage arguing and fighting with Hillary Clinton over this. And the fact that they go after any president who's actually trying to stop people illegally coming into this country is blowing my mind. Now, granted, my family came over illegally. I'm not going to say they didn't. I'm here because of it. That's it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Note: Pedro is a legal citizen and served in our military.
Yes, yes, I am a legal citizen. He married my mother. I popped out 9 months later. Actually, I popped out 9 months
American
later.
Citizen.
And more importantly, and I think this is super important to understand, he went back to Mexico. Okay, he went back to Mexico because he was a migrant farmer, picker, and he lived before he met my mother in a house filled with 15, 16 guys working 16 hours a day, and they get 1 day off. And he went into the club and met my mother, and boom, right? Like how it is.
Boom chakalaka.
Hey, Latin lover. Hey. But the reason why I say this is this. He's not even going after people like that. Like he just wants to go after, like he just, this agency, these people here just want to go after the illegal immigrants that are literally crime, like that are criminals. And this is where I just don't understand. I mean, even a lot of immigrants, like my family, their friends and their family, right? Who a lot of them are like, first or second generation, and they're like, our our family didn't get put into 4-star hotels, given $4,000 a month. Like they came over here with a dream in hopes that their children could grow, in hopes that they could mature and do really well, right? And work their butt off. I mean, we literally have, so one of our, it's funny, is one of them is, anyways, I love them all. But out of the majority, if you put a majority, about 80% of them don't agree with the previous administration handling of immigrants. And to sit there and one of them, it was funny. One of my uncles, who's one of the patriarchs who came over, worked his butt off, and then got a citizenship and everything like that, literally said, "This is what I was blown away." He goes, "Who the f do they think they are, coming over here, thinking they cannot work?" Like, that was the part that was like, he was like, "Don't they know what America is?" Like, and I started laughing. He goes, "And they're taking my social security money," because he's retired. And I started laughing. I was like,
You're taking
all
my
right.
money. See, amazing how the problem never presents
Yeah.
itself until someone thinks that they're taking their money. Then suddenly it's a big problem.
Yeah. It
Mikester
was
says,
funny.
problem I have with auto sign is that Biden may not have even known what was being signed. Someone
Fine.
else was just pushing things
True.
out. This is true, and I agree with that. However, the law's on the side with Biden, in which if he had at any point during his presidency said, "You're in charge of pardons, whoever you suggest, I'll accept," and is officially pardoned, then that's good enough, because then the courts have ruled that over time. They said, the power of the president employs 3 million people. All of that is essentially delegating the president's work. He delegates it out to staff members. He delegates out to his cabinet to do stuff. The president delegates almost everything to someone else. And because the only thing in the Constitution, it just says the president has the power of the pardon, and doesn't say he has to know about it. Doesn't have to. He can literally just take a list and go, whatever Jim says, fine. They're pardoned. Publish it in the Federal Register, and it's done. And just like a president, they make a big deal about presidents signing vetoes and all that type of stuff. President doesn't have to sign a veto and write, "This is vetoed." In fact, I think it was Lyndon Johnson that called up the dude in Sergeant at Arms himself. Just called him on the phone and said, "There's veto in this measure," And so there's not really any. It's one of those things. It's a quirk. We're so used to legal documents explaining everything nowadays, so that everything is a giant document. And they wrote the Constitution, runs our whole country on. It takes up 20 printed pages of current size letterhead now. So
That is
and so
crazy, dude.
and so there's it simply says he has the power of pardons, and he can do it however he wants. He can delegate it. He can say it. He can dance like a chicken. And if he said, "Every time I dance like a chicken, it means I'm approving a pardon," that counts. And you just
Dude.
and Mike, I really I don't know you at all, and I don't know your educational background or whatever, but it's just one of those things you don't understand in the context of this social media marketing campaign that's blasting your head, unless you've talked through the Constitution a lot. And I've happened to have done that at various points in my life for various reasons, including when my family gets together and has a number of drinks. We talk Supreme Court cases. How's that for a discussion? Other people are like, "How about them Bears today?" And you're like, "Oh, have you seen the new book about Marbury versus Madison? Woo! It was just a new take on an old topic." Vincent in the house. Vincent, thank you for joining us. Vincent's coming to us from the Delta of Nigeria, little town. I can't remember his name. He is the moderator. I've appointed him the moderator in our Telegram room. Thanks, Vincent. He doesn't get to join us much because they do not have Wi-Fi and wired internet. They only have to go off expensive data plans. So remember to set your YouTube on the lowest possibility client. You're on 144p, so you don't use much data on this. Thanks for joining us, Vincent. Speaking of, if you haven't joined our Telegram, in the body here's a link to our Telegram. Come join it, and you can interact with Pedro and I.
Don't worry,
we're gonna. I know all four of us that are talking to each other here will thing. You're right, Mike. It is sad. The problem is that every president has done this. Biden was a little bit more egregious because of the January 6th connection.
Yeah.
And pardoning, like his whole family and stuff like that. It's kind of
everybody and their mom.
Right.
Dude.
Like he pardoned his aunt or something like that,
Yeah. It was like, it really, anything.
And I disagree with blanket pardons like that completely. However, had he not done that, right now we're arguing about pardons and whether the signature is right, which is that'll go away in 2 or 3 days. Had he not done that, Congress would have opened thousands of investigations into everything Biden, every person that was associated with him, every former congressman or sitting congressman that was on his side. And we would be in incessant revenge mode. And that's not good either. That divides the country more than the business at hand.
Yeah. Well, after the union, after the State of Union,
that wasn't divisive.
I mean, part of me was sitting there going like, dude, there's just no way. There's no way that we're going to be able to handle this overall, because it was funny. I was talking with my common sense liberal friend, and God rest your soul, sir. May you get healthy and wealthy. Anyways, and we were sitting there watching it, and I was like, "Who is that dude?" He goes, "It's Senator Green." And I go, why is he being crazy? He goes, "They're not. That has to be staged, and this is so dumb. This is absolutely dumb." And he started making fun of literally and he goes, "And half of those people are so far left. Like I don't even agree with 90% of what they're talking about anymore." He goes, 10 years ago, I would agree with them. Now I can't even sit there and say, yeah, I support you. And this happens a lot. I mean, we forget Elon Musk was a Democrat. Trump was a Democrat.
So was Ronald Reagan.
Ronald, was he really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Remember the Republican? In fact, he was a socialist too. Remember he got called up in the old McCarthy trial?
McCarthy trial.
Yeah.
You're right. I totally forgot about that. But like when you start to really sit there and look at things, I don't understand. And again, I am a capitalist, and I am for free commerce. I think the rule of law is important as long as it doesn't become divisive to where it starts to take individual freedoms away. That is the one thing that our Constitution is. It has kept America free.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, really 100%. I mean, I think the UK has something similar, some similar stuff. Once we set that up, and I would like to actually go through and read kind of the history after the Revolutionary War, what like how they changed their what do they call it? I know you would know this.
They don't have an official written constitution, England.
But they have.
I
thought they have certain laws though that protect.
They have a long history of common law, which is essentially court rulings over things that come out of each parliament session, and court rulings over time and from the past when the king had the power, edicts by the king. And but they don't have a constant. I mean, in the 1200s they established the Magna Carta, which was basically the monarchy. They put the knife to the throat of the monarch and said, I can't remember his name, and said either you go along with this and that the monarch is subject to the same laws as everyone else, or we're going to kill you. And so he said, okay, I'll sign that.
Oh wow, when was this? I didn't see.
See, 1200s.
So all right.
That's why, like in the Middle East, that the monarchs are above the law. Like the Saudi king is not, the law applies to everyone else. But in the UK, the monarch is subject to the same House of Commons laws that apply to everyone else. And obviously, some monarchs over the time, like Henry VIII, became more powerful than sitting parliaments back in the day, so he ignored them. But nowadays, they just can't do that. The monarch's not all powerful. It's truly a constitutional role.
It's interesting, but I think what's interesting is that on the back end, there are certain aspects that keep us like somewhat center for each other because like ultimately, I mean, I agree with this person who's far left or this person who's far right, but like ultimately, I think you should have the right to be able to speak and to communicate your stupid idea, ultimately, within reason. And I just don't understand how we can't understand that. Like, why are we being so divisive among each other? Like, I just don't understand that. Like,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
was actually having this discussion the other day, Pedro, and this is my idea of that. Is that in the past, and I mean before the internet, and before satellite television, but I'll give it to you at the internet and the rise of social media. And I don't mean in the past 5 years. I mean 20 years ago, and things, chat rooms really started firing up. People only got their information from their local newspaper or their local TV station, or
Yeah,
you called your Aunt Barb in New York, like, "What's happening, Aunt Barb? Oh, man, you wouldn't believe what's going on here." And the next thing Jimmy in Atlanta says, "Oh my God, you can't believe what's going on in New York." You were subject to a big filter, and that filter was your local news, and whatever the powers that be in your town wanted to be in the papers, because invariably the guy that owns a newspaper knows the mayor or is the mayor, or the governor and that type of stuff. So the newspapers and the news media really filtered the news into small things that people cared about or didn't care about. And obviously tabloid journalism, another thing. But you know what I mean? It was your avenues for news were small and on ingest, and there was no outflow for you to speak your opinion. You just got around talk with your friends in the back room of a pub. I can't believe what that motherfucker did. Damn it. And nowadays, you get your news from anywhere, including intentional disinformation campaigns. Also, you have your pulpit, your opinion that you put out. And what
yeah,
do
literally
people that
social
put
media.
out their opinions do? They
Complain.
stick by them. They
Oh,
don't.
oh yeah.
They stick by them. They're like, I'm right. And I said not only that, but I said it in public, so I better keep going along those lines. And
Even
so
if you're wrong,
nowadays, even though there's more information available, it's easier to find the truth than ever. It's easier than ever to get balanced information in the right and to seek out what the truth is. Very few people actually do that, and then they get their opinions formed either for them or on themselves, and they're stuck with them. And so, and as they get in their little information silo, they harden those opinions, and it happens on all sides, not just one side. And so it's my opinion from looking at it. I was just talking with Mrs. Striking about that because we had it was an important conversation to have regarding another real life. And I was like, you know what? I grew up in a small town with one newspaper. Grew up with the Ridgefield Press, and on the weekends, my mom would get the Sunday New York Times, and it was like, oh my God, look at all this information in here. I can't believe, how can they make a newspaper with that much stuff in it? It's like this thick, the Sunday paper. But then we moved to Ohio, and we had the Fremont News Messenger, which, the news essentially was like one headline about news and worldwide, one about the US, one about, the old chickens that ran down the road, got out of the coop, then sports, you know, and that was the news. That was all the news you got. People weren't divided. The newspaper just said, oh, this bad, this good, that bad. Most of the town's like, yeah, you're right. That good, that bad. So I am long past where I need to go.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I was going to say I just sent you the conversation between Elon Musk and why am I forgetting the guy's name? Why am I forgetting his name? Ted Cruz. And
Magic money computers of the federal government.
yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I just saw it while you were talking. It would be something it would be something funny to watch. And just as we shout out, or before we leave, shout out to Elon Musk for pointing out the obvious, which I thought was so and he's just like, look, like this is what, and the part that's so.
Oop, where'd you go, Pedro? I think Elon just killed you. Pedro, you're on mute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not sure what happened there. Pedro's going on. Pedro, nobody can hear you. Nope. Well, no worko, Pedro. I don't know what happened to Pedro. Pedro's system's dying on him again, I think. That's just an excuse for us to start playing the outro music. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a good day here. We had fun. Went over everything from Bitcoin to why gold is not going to be supplanted by BTC in the short term for status as the reserve asset. We talked a lot about what's going on with current meme coins, where the market's going, that type of stuff. Should be a good day tomorrow as well. I'll be on the air tomorrow, 12:30, the usual time. Let's see. Last comment of the day. Jesus, the Lord and Savior, says, can we put the Constitution on blockchain? No, but we're going to start putting a lot of the functions of the government on the blockchain. That's for sure. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be here all week. Same bat channel. Same bat thing. Thank you very much to the man in the box here with the busted computer, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. Glad to have hosted another great episode of the show. We'll see you tomorrow.